Welcome back to the Lone Star Ladies, where we talk about Denton County grassroots Republican politics.
I'm Sherry Rose, Precinct Chair for 2091 in Plano.
Darlene Howell, 2098 Carrollton.
And Brandy Kennedy, Precinct 2097 in Carrollton. Sherry, you want to tell us what's coming up?
Absolutely. We've got some fun stuff this month, or in October. So Wednesday, October 1st, is at the Lucky Spur Ranch is the Texas Liberty Tour. It's going to run from 6:30 to 9, and Brandon Gill, Mike Olcott, Nate Schatzline, Carissa Richardson, Brent Money, and our favorite House Representative, Mitch Little. Mm-hmm. So I hope you can come to that. Thursday, October 9th, at Marty B's, Tan Parker is having his fall fiesta with Phil. Dr. Phil will be there. That is at Marty B's, which is in Bartonville, Texas, which is about a 30-minute drive from Plano. And then on October the 23rd, Brandon Gill is kicking off his barbecue fundraiser, and that's from 5:30 to 8 at Marty's also. So I hope y'all can come out to one of those, if not all of those events.
And remember, everything we say here is our own opinion. So if you have a problem with it, come to us. Today we have David Wiley here, and he's going to talk about closing primaries. David is running for the Denton County Commissioner for Precinct 4. That's in the southwestern section of Denton County. He is currently the SREC chairman. We do have a man and a woman, so he is the chairman for Senate District 12. And he has been the DCRP vice chair and a precinct chair since 2020. He's also held numerous positions in the Denton and Tarrant County Republican Party since 1996. That's a long time.
Yeah.
David joins us in the conversation about the Republican Party of Texas suing the Secretary of State to close our primaries. David, as a member of the SREC, he was involved in the decision to move forward in this process to close our primaries.
So, David, thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start off with the obvious question. What does closing a primary mean?
Well, currently anybody can vote in our primary. Any registered voter can vote in. They choose the primary they want to vote in. We've seen in the past that some candidates will get voters from the other side to come support them, and they don't have to be as conservative as what Republicans really are.
Right.
And so you see some candidates getting, the school board people to come support them or whatever that like to get tax incentives or whatever. And so our conservative candidates have to work twice as hard.
Right.
The convention delegates decided that we wanted to only have Republicans voting in our primary. So registering to vote in advance of the primary as a Republican will qualify you to participate in our primary.
And why do we want a closed primary? Like, what are some main issues that this helps the Republicans?
Well, I was saying the moderate candidates have the ability to get moderate voters to come support them. And we end up nominating candidates that don't support as rigidly our conservative principles. Like Mitch Little was very conservative, and his opponent was a former school board person and had ties to those kind of things. So in the primary, he only won by like 500 votes or something.
Right. It was close.
Because the other side was getting less conservative voters to come vote for them. And Dade Phelan beat a conservative candidate by 300 votes, and there was documentation that almost 3,000 traditional Democrat primary voters voted in the Republican primary down there in Orange County.
That's
so
too much.
It has been a call that we've made for a number of years, and finally we got the convention delegates to agree with us, and that's why we need to close the primaries so that we have Republican candidates.
Yeah.
And we should have the right to do that.
Yeah. So how did we get here with the lawsuit?
Well, the party operates as a private entity, and we have the right of association. We can choose who we associate with. This has been demonstrated in court cases across the country over the last 20 years. And with the delegate conventions, making the rule, the state party rule, that only Republicans would vote
Yeah.
in the Republican primary. That gave the party the charge to implement that. We made a request to the state legislature to change the election code to codify that registration prior to the election. And there were a number of, there were 4 bills that were filed, but like all good bills, they went to committee and they weren't addressed, and then they died in committee. So the legislature did not act to put this into law. So then it turns to the Secretary of State's office that administers the elections to implement a method of registration in advance to where the people would claim, would affiliate with the party prior to 30 days, perhaps in front of the election. And we made the request, and then Jane Nelson, the Secretary of State, decided that she did not want that to occur, that she felt as though she always got elected in open primaries and that it works well. But, she's not elected anymore. She's appointed by the governor. And, I spoke with the governor a few weeks ago when we were down in Austin for the SREC meeting. And I asked him to put closed primaries on the special, on the call to the special session.
Right.
And he said, well, I'll think about it. And he didn't do it. So neither the governor nor Jane Nelson want closed primaries because they like the way it's always been.
Right.
It seems like this is just a vicious cycle. We can't get it through the legislature because we've got the rhinos running that, and then we've got.
And it's true that over the last 20 years that we've held all the offices statewide, and the legislature has been a Republican majority that entire time, and we're working at it slowly. We got a lot of conservative things done in the last couple of sessions that we would have never expected to get done prior to that. But it's a battle every time. You have to remain vigilant. And so we've got Mitch Little, we've got Andy Hopper, Mike Alcott, and David Lowe, and Tony Tinderholt. They were doing great work, but they need more conservatives. And the only way to get these conservatives elected is to have Republicans choose them.
Absolutely.
When this has come up in other states, how did that work out?
I think that almost 20 states currently have closed primaries. Some of them had to go to court in order to get them implemented. But as I said, those court cases came down on the side of the state parties to affiliate with who they wanted to. And for that reason, when Jane Nelson said no, she didn't want to do this, we were left with no other option other than to negotiate, if you may, with by filing a lawsuit to get the primaries to be closed.
And this was brought by the SREC, the lawsuit?
The RPT, Chairman
RPT.
Abraham George, they filed it on direction of the SREC.
Okay. And what is the feeling from the SREC and maybe even perhaps Abraham George? What is really going to end up happening? Like, are we going to get this passed? Or, is it going to win? Is the lawsuit, I guess?
We wouldn't go on a fool's errand. We're not just tilting at windmills. As I said, case law shows that a number of other states have had the courts prove that they can do this. And so we're very confident. Reading through the text of the lawsuit, it talks about because the current affiliation with a party by voting in their primary only lasts for the current year. So when you vote in March and then you vote in November, voting in March in the primary, you are a Republican through the end of that year. That then drops to the ground. And so at a very minimum, we're going to get that affiliation to be permanent. And so even if we don't get into a registration cycle this first election, by voting in the primary, that will make you a Republican until you then change your affiliation by, changing your voter registration form.
So it lasts a calendar year.
Currently.
But in the general election, you could vote.
There's one election. You can vote for whoever you want in the general election.
Right.
But then in, the upcoming primary following that, it's back open again.
Okay.
And party affiliation also affects your ability to participate in runoffs.
Right.
If you've affiliated with one party by voting in their primary, you can't vote in the other party's runoff.
Yeah.
It affects your ability to participate in the convention process. And so, it's important to have that affiliation. And we currently only have it by voting in the primary. We want to have it by registering in advance of the primary.
Yeah. Got it. We heard that Jane Nelson has hired a really high dollar attorney group to represent
Yes,
her.
the attorneys that Jane Nelson has engaged are some of the highest priced attorneys in the state. She's committing taxpayer funded lawfare against the Republican Party.
Wow.
We're paying for this.
We are paying for it because everything that they spend is our money.
Yeah. That just makes it worse.
Yes.
Very interesting, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very interesting. What do we need to check? Well, we've already talked about what we need to change, really.
Yeah.
We need to change the affiliation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there is, the method that this occurs, what the party is stating is that we want the Secretary of State, who maintains voter registration statewide, to come up with a party affiliation on that registration.
Yeah.
And so they would describe how you fill out a card, mail it back in or whatever, and then use that in the registered voter database when they're allowing people to vote. If the Secretary of State does not do that, then the party would be forced to come up with a way to manage this registration and make it available to the county elections administrations. It would be a lot more expensive for the party that way, and you would have patchworks with different counties across the state, 254 counties. It would be much better for it to be common across all sides.
Isn't that what most states do?
Yes, and of course, most states don't have 254 counties.
Yeah.
Texas's
There's
volume
that.
brings a lot of effort to it, but out of fairness, it would be best for the Secretary of State's office to do this.
Yeah.
And currently, I've maintained the walk list database of all the registered voters in the county
Yes.
forever and ever and ever, and they've already got it. They've already got party affiliation built into their database.
Right.
They just need to have a process defined of maintaining that.
Okay. Interesting.
Brandy, what?
Just go ahead with your
Okay.
question.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Why is this a problem?
Well, not having the closed primaries, as I said to begin with, allows candidates to encourage moderate voters to help choose our candidates. And that weakens our ability in the general election because, we don't have as strong of candidates. Likewise, when we end up getting weak candidates and then getting them elected, they don't deliver for us in the legislature. They go down and they vote across the aisle and those kind of things. And so in order to have the voice of the people recognized, only those people need to participate in the party primaries. That's why we have party primaries, is to select two candidates from different sides, and then we have a general election. If we just wanted to let everybody vote for everybody, we don't need primaries.
Right,
We can just
exactly.
have a general election,
Exactly.
Yeah,
which would be a mess.
it would be.
Yeah, I read that closed primaries create incentives for voters to join a party and become committed members that build loyalty, strengthen the party, the organization. You just
Yes.
become a
A better
You're
party,
known.
yeah.
You're known to be a member of the party.
Yeah.
And over time, that definitely means something. It builds.
yeah. Let's see what can the voters do to help?
Well, currently, Jane Nelson doesn't answer to anybody other than the governor.
Oh.
So, phone calls to the governor's office, phone calls to Jane Nelson's office. That's how we get things out of the legislature. We call our legislators, we
Right.
call our representatives. In this case of overarching runaway government, the governor is pretty much our only out on this. So I would say call the governor's office, tell them that you want closed primaries, you want the Secretary of State to establish party registration, and call Jane Nelson's office. They tend to not be very responsive, though.
Wasn't our governor coming up for re-election next year?
He will be on the ballot in the same primary. And, of course, if only conservatives are voting for him, then that's one thing. But if it's an open primary where, moderates and liberals can vote for him, then that'll be completely different. And I think that may be affecting his opinion here.
So is there a time frame? I haven't been able to look at the paperwork or any of the lawsuit information, but is there a time frame that we're looking for to be a ruling?
Well, if you back up from the March primary date and the beginning of early voting, 2 weeks, mid-February, in order to get registered 30 days in advance of the election, we would have to have the process in place no later than January, and to create the process and implement the process, notify the voters, get them a chance of 30 or 60 days to register so that we don't have to turn people away.
Right.
Means that, maybe November 1st would be a time where we've got to get something done by. So that's a month away.
We have a job for you guys. We need to call the governor's office, call the Secretary of State, say we want closed primaries. Just keep hounding them, emailing them, calling them, whatever you can do to get in touch with the governor. Would the lieutenant governor be helpful?
Dan Patrick's always a great guy to call.
Okay.
Doesn't have direct influence over the Secretary of State, but anybody that you know.
Okay, job for you guys. Let's make some phone calls and send some emails.
Yeah. I also read something that said that this case was filed in the Amarillo Division of the Northern District of Texas Federal Court and has been assigned to Judge Matthew Kasomar, a Trump appointee who may be sympathetic to the GOP arguments. What do you think about that?
And that's, you get into this court shopping thing
Right.
whenever you file. It is a very beneficial thing to us to have that support. You wouldn't want to file in Travis County.
Right. You don't want to do anything in Travis County except go to the lake.
So we're very confident with that it's going to work out on our side. And it would be nice if it happened sooner rather than later so we could prepare and get things in place and get people registered.
Is this judge on any kind of a timeline, or can he just kind of at his discretion?
I don't think that there's any way to force the issue.
Yeah.
When you do that, you tend to bypass lower courts and you go straight to the Texas Supreme Court or this is a civil matter, so to go to the Supreme Court. But we're wanting to follow the process straight through, and so we're hoping that it will happen soon.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that would be great.
Thank you.
Sounds like lots of block walking.
Yeah.
Yes. David, we appreciate you being here today and talking about this because we needed to learn a of it more about it.
Denton County is completely red. Y'all have done great work in your precincts, and all of our elected officials appreciate the work you do.
Thank
and
you.
so I'm glad to be here right next to you.
Thank you.
And good luck with your election.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Vote early, vote often.
That's right. That's what we always say. That's what we say.
Thank you guys. Remember to follow us on OBBM, Facebook, Rumble, YouTube, and X at the Lone Star Ladies.
And if you have any questions, thoughts, ideas for other podcasts, you can email us at thelonestarladies@myyahoo.com. Thank you for joining us today.
And God bless you.
And yeehaw!